Are you putting your best marketing efforts into the right places? I mean, really, it's the question that keeps pretty much every business leader up at night. Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful technique that helps you find out for sure. Just think about your last campaign for a second. You spent a ton of time, a ton of money reaching out to people, but did you actually change anyone's mind? Or were you just talking to people who were going to say yes to you anyway?
So let's make this super concrete with an example. Picture a political campaign, okay? They've got all this data and it tells them this one particular voter is highly likely to vote for their candidate. So what do? They send them flyers and more flyers.
But here's the problem, the big catch. That person was always going to vote for them. They were already a supporter. So every single dollar spent on those glossy mailers, completely wasted. It's a classic case of good intentions, but totally wasted effort, targeting the right person for the wrong reason. And this brings us to a really fundamental shift in thinking. See, the campaign's problem wasn't about predicting who would vote. It was about predicting who they could actually influence. This is all about moving from simple prediction to the real art of persuasion. And this is the crucial difference right here. Most of the predictive models we use ask, who is most likely to buy? But the far more powerful and frankly more profitable question is, who can we persuade to buy? It seems like a small change in wording, but it's an absolute game changer. It's the difference between finding a loyal customer and actually creating one.
And the technique that answers this smarter question, it's called Uplift Modeling. You might also hear it called incremental modeling, maybe treatment effects modeling. Its whole job is to specifically measure the causal impact of your actions. So it doesn't just predict the final result, it predicts the change your marketing actually creates.
Now, to really get this, we've got to break down our audience into four very distinct types. Because let's be honest, not everyone reacts to a message in the same way. The core idea behind uplift modeling can be visualized in this simple but really powerful matrix. It basically categorizes every single person based on one key question. How would they act with your marketing, and how would they act without it? The entire goal here is to use this framework to find that one golden group, the persuadables. Let's break these down. First up, the sure things. These are your loyal fans. They're going to buy from you whether you send them that email or not. So targeting them, waste of money. Then you've got the lost causes. They are not going to buy no matter what you do. So also a waste. Third, and this one is so important, are the do not disturbs. These people are actually less likely to buy if you contact them. You're literally annoying them away. And finally, the persuadables. These are the folks who are on the fence. And your marketing, your little nudge, is the one thing that pushes them over the edge to buy. This is your gold mine. This right here makes the difference crystal clear. A traditional predictive model, the one that asks who is likely to buy, is fantastic at finding the sure things. But an uplift model? It's specifically designed to ignore them and instead hunt for the persuadables, the only group where your marketing dollars actually generate a real return. So you're probably wondering, how do we actually find these people? I mean, we can't see what someone would have done in a parallel universe where they didn't get our ad, right? Well, not exactly. But we can estimate it with a pretty clever experimental design. It all starts with something you probably remember from science class, a randomized controlled trial. You take your whole audience and you randomly split them. One part is the treatment group. They see the ad, they get the special offer. The other part is the control group. They get nothing. Then you just measure the conversion rate in both groups. The difference between them? That's it. That's your average uplift, the true causal effect of your campaign. Okay, so from there, some really sophisticated machine learning models take over. They analyze all the results from these experiments and they start to learn the patterns. What are the characteristics of people in the treatment group who converted compared to the control group? This lets them build a predictive profile for what a persuadable individual looks like. So you can estimate the uplift for every single person in your audience. Pretty cool, huh? And look, this isn't just some abstract theoretical concept. This is being used right now by some of the biggest names in tech and finance and even in life-saving medicine to make incredibly precise and profitable decisions. Just think about this in action. Companies like Uber use it to figure out exactly which users need a discount to keep riding, saving millions on offers they would have given to people who are going to ride anyway. In medicine, it's used to predict which specific patients will benefit most from a drug, which gets us closer to truly personalized treatment. And in finance, it helps banks identify which offers will actually increase the client's value, instead of just handing out perks to people who are already happy. The impact of this shift can be just staggering. Let's walk through a real-world retail case study that shows the night and day difference between the old way and this new way of thinking. Okay, so first, the traditional approach. The marketing team targeted the people with the highest scores from a standard predictive model. But just look at the response rates. The test group, the ones who got the promotion, came in at 16.73%. But the control group, who got nothing, was right behind them at 16.59%. They're basically neck and neck. The difference, the actual impact of their campaign, was a tiny 0.14%. They were just mailing sure things. And worse, they were annoying the do not disturbs, look at the top of the chart. The promotion actually lowered the response rate. All that effort for virtually zero effect.
Okay, now let's see what happened when they switched to an uplift model. The model now scores people based on how persuadable they are. The overall response rates might look a bit lower, but that's not what matters. Look at the difference. The test group is now converting at 9.45% versus the control group at just 6.60%.
The new incremental response rate is 2.88%. Now you might think, 2.88%? Is that a lot? Well, on its own, maybe not. But compare it to the 0.14% they got before. That's a more than 20-fold improvement in ROI. I mean, it's just incredible. And it all came from asking a smarter question and targeting the people who could actually be persuaded.
Ultimately, it all comes down to this one philosophy. The important thing to know is the impact of what you're doing, not just a guess at the final outcome. That is the absolute key to unlocking real efficiency and real growth. So I'll leave you with this question. Where in your world, in your business, could you stop just predicting the future and start measuring your power to actually change it?